What's up, ladies? Happy beginning of the week. I'm going to take a moment as you're jumping on. Please say hi as you come on. I'm going to pin this at the top of our Facebook group. Make sure you're there. Macro tracking and weightlifting for women. We share lots of free resources, tips, tricks for sustainable fat loss and muscle growth, and really just learning to create and maintain a physique that you absolutely love. Okay, great. Oh, ladies, let's talk through the all or nothing approach. This is a mindset that plagues so many women out there. And I really want to chat through what that looks like so you can see, is that coming forth in my life? And then what are some different approaches that we can have to help you overcome the all or nothing mindset? And what is that mindset actually giving you? Okay, so let's dive in. And I would love to know too from the audience, like, who experiences this? Do you feel like you struggle with the all or nothing mindset? Let me know, and just know that I hear you and this video is for you. Okay, so here are some things if you struggle with the mindset of the all or nothing that you may be saying to yourself. If I am not spot on, I fail. I don't know exactly what's in the food when I go out to eat, so I'm just not even going to track. I know I'm going to go over my macros, so I'm just not even going to track. You see a trend. I can't do my whole workout, so I'm just going to do none of it. I can't control the entire vacation or the social event or the day, so I'm just going to say screw it and start again tomorrow or whenever that next day is most convenient. Does anyone find themselves saying these things, feeling like you have to be perfect or you won't see progress? Please let me know. And that is just so not the case at all. And I'll talk through that. But I want to share, what does the all or nothing mindset actually give you? It gives you nothing because the all or the perfection is unattainable. It's not a realistic thing to achieve. You guys, we need flexibility in our life, right? If you've tracked your whole day into perfection and then your husband comes home and says, "Hey, honey, happy," or not happy birthday, but like, "Happy Wednesday. I'm so excited about today because this happened. Let's go out to dinner to celebrate." Are you going to say, "No, can't. Sorry, already pre-planned my day, or I'm not going to be successful"? That's horrible, right? Because now it's taken away from you beautiful opportunity with your family. It's taking away connection with your significant other and giving them like high priority and respect and things like that. So it's just pulling away, right? Whereas it's okay to have the grace to say, "Okay, shoot, I already pre-planned all my macros. Hubs just came home, invited me to dinner. I would love to be able to go. I know I'm going to blow my macros," instead of what we just talked about. And instead of saying, "Oh, screw it, I'll just have whatever I want." Instead, we can control our controllables and say, "Okay, no worries. I'm going to go over my macros. I'm going to choose as healthy as I can. I'm going to put condiments on the side, right? I'm going to choose veg. I'm going to choose protein. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to be present with my significant other. And the amount I go over, that's okay. That's okay. Tomorrow is a new day." Where did you win in that situation? Where did you win? If you want to comment, please do. Where did you win? I'll start pointing some out right off the bat. One, you honored your significant other, gave them love, time, and attention, right? Two, you released stress and pressure of perfection and instead filled it with grace, saying, "Okay, I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to control my controllables." Champion mindset, right? Victim mindset is, I can't control everything, so I fail and I quit today. What? There's so many wins we can have, right? So you release the stress and the pressure and you instead filled it with grace. What's another win? You got to practice flexibility and again, still have grace. And you got to know that, okay, I'm going to go out. I'm going to choose healthy options. I wasn't perfect, but my life is still improving, right? Oops, let me go like that. That is, oops, sorry, you guys. My LinkedIn is popping up telling me that. Okay. So anyway, it's filling it with, okay, it's okay that life is messy and crazy all the time. I'm going to control my controllables. I'm going to have gratitude and grace for myself as I navigate that. And I don't have to be perfect to see amazing results. No one is perfect. No single human ever is perfect. Okay. So now I said, what is a better approach? I talked about that a little bit, but I want to talk through some other pieces. So what is a better approach? Allowing for the journey to take place, not just the start or the finish. I'm going to do it and I have to be perfect or nothing. It's like, oh my gosh, but there's so much growth that happens in the journey. You can't go from start to finish without the journey. For example, let's say that you're not new to tracking macros, but it's like you've never really had them super dialed into you. So you're still like trying to figure them out, right? And then obviously you're about to, I'm actually thinking of one of our new clients. Okay. So she's great with macros, great with lifting, doing the things, but just wanted more dialed in, right? And so I said, okay, great. XYZ, here's all the things we can do. And then she got scared. I said, what is it? What's the fear happening right now? And she said, well, what if I can't hit the macros all the way? What if, it takes time away from my family and I can't eat with them? And I said, well, then that's not the sustainable and healthy approach, right? There's so many wins in the journey, like learning how to make one meal for the family and maybe making some minor tweaks, like taking a condiment off of some people's plates, right? Adding another veg on some people's plates, right? But to really have success through to your goals of where you want to be, it does require learning in the middle, in the messy. And it's okay to be messy. It's actually great to be messy because it shows where you need strategy, right? It shows, oh, that's a kink, right? That's a challenge point. That's a challenge point. That's a challenge point. That's a challenge point. And so you can just very slowly start to say, okay, if that's a challenge point, what would feel good? Like, what would a good solution feel like? Okay, a good solution would feel like I can eat with my family and we feel like a family and not like mom's always on a diet. Beautiful. Well, what would need to happen for that to take place? Well, we'd have to have one main meal and we'd all, for the most part, have to enjoy it. Okay, well, what would have to happen for that to take place, right? So it's backwards planning, right? It's really saying, what outcome do you want? Starting to backwards plan and being okay when your husband eats all your pre-planned macros. It's okay. Flexibility is required for sustainable, healthy living. Perfection is not, okay? All right. So what else is a better approach to the all or nothing mindset? It's reframing that old way of thinking into new, healthy, positive way of thinking. Well, shoot, I'm not going to hit my macros today, but I'm so proud of you for literally putting in maximum amount of effort and you did amazing and you still honored your husband. Good job, self. Proud of you for that. Instead of, well, look at you. Now you're just going to gain those 5 pounds back. You can't do anything. You can't control that. And now he's getting in my way and he's doing that. Like, what a different life that woman is living. Same situation, different thought processes. Wild, right? We must reframe the old way of thinking that we don't want to deal with anymore into these new patterns. Is it uncomfortable? You betcha. It's so uncomfortable, right? Because even when something causes us pain, if it's comfortable, sometimes we just sit in it because it's known, right? It's easy because it's known. Get uncomfortable, go through the journey, find your wins, and keep encouraging yourself even when things don't at all go to plan. Okay. I have a little bit more, but I want to actually share a personal story. I may get emotional. I think maybe I'm about to start my period or something, but I had a trip planned this last Wednesday, so less than a week ago, to Virginia. I live in Washington State. And I was going to go meet up with my business coach and some other of my trainer colleagues. And I was so excited. I needed a desperate break from home life and being a single mother to a very young child. Sometimes it just really gets you, right? Like, obviously I run a company, so working all the time. And I was so desperate to be around other adults, other driven, females and trainers and stuff like that. And due to the storm, I sat on the flight for 3 hours for it to de-ice. And then they sent us home. All the flights were canceled. And I was devastated. I really was. I was so excited. I needed it so bad. And so I just sat there for a moment. I was like, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? I said, well, I already have childcare, so I'm not going home, right? And so I went out to eat and I started Googling all these different places I could go. And I decided to drive to Canada, Vancouver Island. And on my way, I drove basically on like a highway, and I drove an hour and a half, okay, sideways when Canada is straight up, for those who aren't great with north, south, whatever. And the road was closed. And so I had to turn back around, fully back to my house, another hour and a half. So it was 3 hours. At this point, I think it was like 5 p.m. And I had gotten up, I want to say at like 3:30 in the morning to go to the airport. Okay. So this was like over 12 hours of basically blocks. And I started crying, and I'm like, okay. Control your controllables. Control your controllables. I said, what are you going to do? I said, you're not going to give up. You're not going to give up. So I passed my house. I drove back around 3 hours, and then I continued to drive in another 5 hours. And I almost quit. So many times. I was right there at my house. I was exhausted. It was past dinner time. I go to bed at 8. Okay. I almost quit. And I said to myself, what's the experience on the other side? What's the experience on the other side? I know this part sucks, love, but what is that experience on the other side? I said, yep. Hell yeah. So I grabbed a 20-ounce Red Bull, and I freaking drove, and I drove. And on the other side, it was wonderful. And it was all the things that I needed, right? But it was pushing past constant disruption, constant failure, constant frustration by myself. I didn't have someone to really talk through this about. It was by myself. And it was just that constant climbing. It was like, no, nothing's going to stop me. There's an ice storm. I don't care. I'm going. I need this. I can't go home and sit. I need to get out of my element. So it's just keep climbing through the discomfort, and it's always beauty on the other side, because growth happens in the discomfort. But keep your mind on, I can do this. I'm moving forward. Yes. Positive gratitude. I know it's hard to do sometimes. Believe me, I know it's hard to do when I've heard mom 10,000 times in that day. Just keep finding the gratitude. Your life will be so much better because of it. That was a very raw example. Okay. So ladies, I want to share one more thing. I think, let me check my notes here. Oh yeah. One more thing. When you accept yourself as you are, not just the perfect version you want to be, things get so much better. And this is something personally I've had to work through. If you guys know the Enneagram, I'm an Enneagram 3, and we put self-worth in performance. And so if we're not constantly performing, it can be really challenging mentally on an Enneagram 3. And so really, I'm still in this journey, but when you really learn to love and accept who you are and where you are in your journey, your results actually get better because you're able to relax more, but the journey becomes more fun, and naturally you get to your results faster because you kind of release the grip, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to be at peace with who I am now and where I am now, fully knowing I'm going to keep growing and getting better, and life will keep improving. That space is a lot of stress freedom, and it feels really good to be there. And I know it takes a lot of work to get there, but if you're not there, keep going to that space. If you do something that you wish you didn't do during the day, instead of like beating yourself up for 5 minutes to a year, right? Some people beat themselves up for so long. Instead, just say, you know what, Lev? Look at the circumstances around it. I'm proud of you. I know you're doing your best. Don't worry about it. We got this. Keep going. That type of self-talk will really like take the limit, like the ceiling that we put right off of us. And it allows us to go so much further because you have that support person in your corner instead of that bully right in your corner all the time. Okay. Cool. I want to read these comments really quick. So practice this exact thing over the weekend on vacation. That's great. And what did it do for your life? Right? Oh, that's awesome. Mindfulness is wonderful. Sorry, some of y'all, I can't see your name. You just have to click give StreamYard permission. Then I'll be able to see it. What a beautiful experience you share. Yeah. Sometimes, I'm realizing I'm like, just share all the experiences because it just shows realness. It shows the real struggle, and it shows like, okay, what can we actually do in a real situation? And sometimes the outcome isn't beautiful, but I'll tell you that there's always growth, which makes it beautiful. You know what I mean? Like the growth is what's beautiful, not the end result. Okay, last thing. How can you apply this in your life today? Let's see. So of course, control your controllables, but remember, have grace for yourself when you miss the mark. Don't feel like you're going backwards, but instead say, Awesome. This is part of the process because that's just a kink I need awareness of so I can start creating tools around. If it feels like you got a whole lot of them, it's okay. Grab a mentor. It helps to walk through a mentor, but still it's okay, because how many decades have you practiced that habit? Give yourself the grace to change it, right? It does take time. You're not doing anything wrong. You're doing a wonderful job. It just takes time to change it because there's a lot of mindset involved in it. It's not just your actions. So give yourself the love and your grace. Give yourself the love and grace today as you change, and just start catching those negative thoughts and being like, no, I'm good. I got this. We're going forward. We're achieving the body we want. We're achieving the health levels we want. We're as fit as we've ever been in our life. We feel amazing, and we can live a healthy, normal life with other people around us. And we get to lead by example in fitness and nutrition. Heck yeah, that's a great space to be. And we can all be there. Accept where you are. Enjoy the journey. Get uncomfortable. You got this. Beautiful. Ladies, thanks for being here with me today. Any questions you have, please let me know. And I'd love to just chat through with them either on a Facebook Live or on in a message. So just know we're here for you. And I hope you guys have a great day and a great week and a great year. Talk to you later.